Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Chiefs win. Cry, Eagles, cry.
Great, excited to be back in the league.
You know, every day I got the Three Stooges in the studio with me is a good fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So let's make sure he gets that bag.
Frauds! Woo!
Justin's way ahead in picks. That's all that you need to fucking know.
Show's over.
Show's over. We're going home.
I would like to welcome you back to another page of the Playbook Sports Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast, and we are officially 7 days away from the 2023 NFL Draft. So that means it's time for some blazing hot takes. And I've got a few written down here that I'm sure is going to set the internet on fire. Not really, but maybe people will agree with some of these things. I don't know. I'm interested to find out. But I'm not going to waste anybody's time here. I'm just going to jump right into it. My first 2023 NFL Draft hot take is that Anthony Richardson's second contract in the NFL will surpass Bryce Young's second contract in the NFL. Now, let me dive into that just a little bit more. I'm not saying that Anthony Richardson is going to be a better quarterback than Bryce Young. I'm talking strictly contract and who's going to get more money when their first contract's up and the second contract kicks in. I think that's going to be Anthony Richardson. You look around the NFL right now, guys, the prototype quarterback is big. They just are. And I hate to talk about Bryce Young's size because it's such an obvious talking point, and it's the lowest hanging fruit. Yes, the guy was incredible in college. There's no questioning that. And Anthony Richardson has limited production in college. None of that has to do, though, with the fact that Anthony Richardson has the most potential out of any player in this draft, in my opinion. Anthony Richardson is an absolute unicorn athlete. He ran a 4.44 40, say that 5 times fast, which is fourth all-time for NFL quarterbacks, only behind the likes of Michael Vick, Anthony Richardson, and Reggie McNeil. The difference, though, he's not as fast as those guys. He did it at 245 pounds. He's 6'4", 244 pounds is what he weighed in at the combine. He had a 40.5-inch vertical jump. He had a 10.9 broad jump. This guy is an absolute freak athlete. I mean, we haven't seen anything like this really since Cam Newton came out. And even, Josh Allen is considered a really good athlete. Anthony Richardson blows him away. You can't teach that. Those are things you cannot teach. Those are things you're gifted with. And Anthony Richardson is as gifted as they come when it comes to athletes. Bryce Young measured in small. He measured in just over 6 feet, or shorter than 6 feet, and 204 pounds. And, coming from me, 6'1", 200 pounds, it's like, are you small? I'm not trying to play in the NFL. This guy is. He's going up against these monsters on the other side of him. Yep, again, I just want to say Bryce Young, I think will go number 1 overall. I think he could have a fantastic NFL career. I just think that whoever drafts Anthony Richardson, whether it's the Colts at 4, whether the Colts move up to get him, whoever gets Anthony Richardson, if he falls to Seattle at 5, wherever he may go in this draft, I think his second contract is going to be bigger than Bryce Young's because he doesn't have any injury history, neither does Bryce Young, but I think you can project just a little bit that Anthony Richardson's going to be able to take those hits and get up. Bryce Young may take a couple of hits from these guys who weigh 350 pounds, and it may take him a second to get up, and so that's why I think that when it's all said and done, at the end of their first contracts, I think Anthony Richardson will have a bigger contract than Bryce Young. Again, I'm not saying Anthony Richardson's a better prospect than Bryce Young, because Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this draft class, and we've had prospect fatigue where we've all just been like, oh yeah, we know, let's talk about someone else and push them up the board to push him down. I think Bryce Young is going to be great, but I think Anthony Richardson's second contract is going to be huge because of his potential, and people are going to see a lot of Josh Allen and Cam Newton in his game, and GMs are going to salivate over that. My second hot take of this is that there will be a Hall of Famer in this draft class. It's not going to be a quarterback, and it's not going to be Will Anderson, who a lot of people kind of peg as the best talent in this draft. Before I go into who I think it is, and this may tip my pick just a little bit here, let's talk about an offensive guard, Zach Martin, for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about his measurables. 6'4" at the combine, 308 pounds, 32 7/8 inch arm, 9.5 inch hands. He had a vertical jump of 28 inches, pretty solid, 4.59, 20-yard shuttle, and he had 29 reps on the bench press. Shorter arms, not long arms by any means, but also not crazy arms. He came out as an offensive tackle, and the Cowboys said, no, let's move him to guard. I think it's safe to say that he is definitely on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He's been the best guard in football pretty much since he came out. I think Peter Skoronski is going to be just as good as Zach Martin when it's all said and done. I think if there's a Hall of Famer in this class, it's Peter Skoronski as an offensive guard. Whoever takes him, kick him inside. He is coming out as a tackle. Let's talk about the measurables. He comes in at 6'4", same height as Zach Martin. He comes in at 313, 5 pounds heavier than Zach Martin. His arms are a little shorter. His arms are 32 and a quarter inch as opposed to 32 and 7/8 inch, and his hands are a half inch bigger. So very, very similar when it comes to the size and the measurables. You look at the athleticism of Peter Skoronski. He ran a 10-yard split in 1.75, which is very solid. 30 reps on the bench press, so one more bench rep than Zach Martin. Pretty good. And he ran a 5.16 40. No, he's not going to be sprinting up and down the field, but that shows decent explosiveness. And a vertical jump of 34.5 inches. I think that's fantastic. I think you kick him into guard, and he is a plug-and-play guard on whoever drafts him for the next 15 years. And I think when it's all said and done, we're talking about him as a Hall of Fame level offensive lineman. I'm not saying that there can't be others. I'm not saying that Will Anderson can't come out and break sack records, because who knows, maybe he could in the right team. And maybe Bryce Young or Richardson or any of these quarterbacks that come out could light the world on fire, Patrick Mahomes style, and just be like, yep, this guy's going to the Hall of Fame plug and play. Let's just forget about it. I really believe in Peter Skoronski. I think his technical ability is so sound. He has great feet. The knock on him as a tackle is he's got short arms. And, okay, great, kick him into guard and just let him dominate the interior offensive line for years to come. I think that makes him fall, maybe, well, not fall, I shouldn't say. I could see the Raiders taking him. I don't think the Bears take him at 9 because I think they need a tackle, so I really like Paris Johnson Jr. to them at 9. So I think Peter Skoronski falls into the lap, kind of like Zach Martin, who fell to 16 to the Cowboys. I think Peter Skoronski falls to the mid-level of the first round. Maybe Steelers trade up and get him. Maybe, unfortunately, maybe the Patriots go get him. I could also see, not the Jets, but I could see the Patriots maybe making a move for Skoronski, and I just hope they don't try and force him to be a tackle because I think he could have a Zach Martin-type career as an offensive guard, which is very, very rare because, obviously, it's Zach Martin. I'm talking about the best guard in football. So yeah, I think that he is going to, when it's all said and done, if there's one Hall of Famer in this draft class, it's Peter Skoronski in my opinion. And then my last hot take I got for you guys today, and I'll probably have more as we go, as we just continue to get closer and closer to the draft. We're just there's not a whole lot of new things to talk about. We're 7 days away at this point. So it's just breaking down what we already know and talking about it and saying some outlandish things to get some clicks. Hey, who can blame me? My third and final hot take for you guys today I think is pretty spicy, but I could be wrong. I think the best receiver out of this draft class at the end of everyone's careers is going to be Zay Flowers. I'm a big fan of Jackson Smith-Njigba. I do think that this season, if he's healthy, he'll have 100-plus receptions out of the slot. He has great hands. I think that Jordan Addison is the best route runner in this class. I think he could also be a very good wide receiver in the NFL over some time. I think Quentin Johnson has all of the athletic traits to be really good. I don't like the concentration drops, and I'm not as high on Quentin Johnson as I once was. I definitely could see him falling out of the first round behind the likes of someone like Zay Flowers, who is currently on a visit with the Chiefs, catching balls from Patrick Mahomes. Please, NFL, do not let Zay Flowers go to the Kansas City Chiefs because it's over for the rest. It's already over for the rest of us. It just makes it that much worse because they just get someone who's going to be a similar to Tyreek Hill type of player. Zay Flowers at the Combine, very, very good. Measured in 5'9", so a little undersized, but 182 pounds, so he's pretty thick, which is good. You like to see that. Shorter arms, 29 and a quarter inch. Hands, 9 and a quarter inch as well. So he's not going to freak you out when you see him. But then you look at his Combine results. He ran a 4.42 40, very, very good. But the one that stands out to me is his 10-yard split. He ran a 1.53 10-yard split. That's elite, guys. That is an elite 10-yard split time at wide receiver. That's fantastic. You think about it, yeah, 40 times great and all that. How often are these guys going to run 40 yards straight ahead? That doesn't happen. But are you going to run a 10-yard route where you need to explode by somebody? Absolutely. I think his explosiveness is going to cause headaches for defensive coordinators in the NFL this year. I think that teams are going to have to play off-ball coverage against him because if he gets by you, he's gone. And then you look at the positives, the analysis done by Lance Zierlein, NFL analyst. Shout out Lance. Some of his strengths: sudden feet to slip press and race ahead of coverage. He can just get right out of man coverage, so you can't cover him like that. You're going to have to account for him. His routes are fast, and he maintains his momentum through turns. That's a good sign of lower body strength. He is, like I said, explosive, 35.5-inch vertical jump also, so he can get up. His hands aren't the best, but that I think will come with time. And also we got to think, okay, he was catching passes at Boston College. No offense to Boston College, of course, but they're not considered a blue blood program by any means. And this past season, he had 78 catches for over 1,000 yards, tied for 5th in FBS with 12 receiving touchdowns in 12 games. That's fantastic. The guy is super explosive. The knocks against him are his routes and that he's small. Okay, you could teach that. That's a fixable thing. I'm not comparing him to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is top 3 receiver in the NFL, probably number 1 or number 2. There's a conversation to be had there. But he could play just like him because teams are going to have to drop off of him. And then once he gets open underneath and once you teach him these routes, you get him in a good system, and he could be fantastic. I could see him as a Pro Bowl level wide receiver, and I don't see that kind of explosiveness from these other guys. And you look around the NFL right now and speed kills. You got the Legion of Zoom in Miami. Everybody wants the speedsters who can take the top off of a team. And I think Zay Flowers can take the top off. And if he goes to somewhere like Kansas City, it's over. Forget about it. He's going to be unstoppable. I'm a big Zay Flowers guy. I wasn't really originally, but the more I've looked into him, and if I remember correctly, his interview scores are off the chart. He's interviewing the best of all the wide receivers. That says something, guys. That's huge. If you are talking to these GMs and to these coaches and they are liking what they're hearing, and then you show up with this athletic profile, you're just a little smaller, they're going to take a shot on you because they know you're coachable. They know you've got the intangibles to work with. Now we just got to work on your routes, and you'll get better at catching the ball as you go. I'm a big Zay Flowers guy. I hope the NFL doesn't let him go drop to 31 and let the Chiefs get a steal because he will be incredible in the NFL. Those are my 3 hot takes for you guys today on 420. Happy 420 if you celebrate. I don't, but I know those who do, as long as it's legal. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these hot takes. Let me know if there's anything you would change. And let me know if you want more hot takes, because I got more. I'm just giving you a little sampler right now. But I can give you a whole mess of spicy wings if you want them. So thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more NBA playoff talk. Stay tuned for more MLB talk and more draft talk. We've got our final big Playbook Sports Podcast mock draft coming out this week, and we are going to be boots on the ground 7 days from now at the NFL Draft. We're going to detail the whole thing. We're going to have an unbelievable amount of content coming out on it on YouTube. Check out our TikTok. Check out all the socials. It's just going to be nonstop fun for the next 10 days, guys. Can't wait. So thanks again for stopping in, and we'll see you all in the next one.